After Terrence Crawford had knocked out Jose Benavidez in the 12th round, and I've also heard an announcement today that Adrian Broner will be fighting Pacquiao soon, I can't help but think that Terrence Crawford basically became everything that Adrian Broner should have been. So obviously when Adrian Broner first came up before his fight with Maidana, he was actually ranked top 5 pound for pound, according to the Ring magazine. Obviously at the time, Ring magazine was actually promoting Adrian Broner, so you could see there was some bias there, but there was like genuine like insiders in boxing that thought Adrian Broner was like the new coming of basically Floyd Mayweather. Like he was seen as like the predecessor of Mayweather. As soon as Mayweather retires, this new kid, Adrian Broner, is gonna come up and he's gonna literally dominate the world of boxing. And it's not just because of the fact that he had talent. It was the fact that he had a certain level of charisma. So a lot of insiders in boxing, industry experts, were predicting that this guy is going to become like the guy to like break pay-per-view records and set all these new records and such. And at the time, obviously, Terrence Crawford was just in the background, just quietly working away. He was signed with Top Rank, and at the time, he was just applying his trade. No one really paid that much attention to Terrence Crawford compared to the attention that was given to Adrian Broner. And I can't help but think, right? It reminds me of Floyd Mayweather and ZAB Judah in a sense, like the way their careers have actually panned out. So obviously now, like fast forward to 2018, Terrence Crawford, in most people's estimation, is seen as the #1 pound for pound fighter in the planet. Literally, he's unified two divisions. I believe it's two divisions, if I'm not mistaken. He's won a world title against, obviously against Jeff Horn in the welterweight division, and obviously he's knocked out. He's knocked out Jose Benavidez. He knocked out, obviously, Jeff Horn, and he also knocked out Julius Indongo. All three of them fighters were world-class fighters that were undefeated at the time. And it must be said, it reminds me of Adrian Broner and Floyd Mayweather in the sense that when ZAB Judah first, not Adrian Broner and Floyd Mayweather, sorry, ZAB Judah and Floyd Mayweather, when ZAB Judah was first coming up, he was actually seen as this this potential superstar that was going to light up boxing. He had all this natural talent. Before the Costa Zoo fight, he just looked like he was going to be the guy, man. He was 24 years old when he was heading into the Costa Zoo fight. He had the backing from Mike Tyson, sort of similar to how early in his career, Adrian Broner was seen to like have the backing of Floyd Mayweather. Like you can see when ZAB Judah was walking to the ring, Mike Tyson was walking with him. It just seemed like he was destined to be that guy. But as time has gone on, obviously like ZAB Judah's had his meltdowns. He's not performed and fulfilled his actual potential. And Floyd Mayweather came up behind him and obviously overtook him and eventually became the highest pay-per-view fighter in the sport. So obviously Terrence Crawford's got a long way to go before he gets to that level of marketability. But it's got to be said, in his fight against Jose Benavidez, I believe he generated 2.7 million views on ESPN. So, and he made about £3 million from that particular fight. So you can say that Terrence Crawford, he's still young enough to become that guy. If he wipes out the welterweight division, he could go on to become that person. So in terms of like the similarities between them, you can see like with Adrian Broner and ZAB Judah, they've got all this immense potential, but for some reason they never fulfilled. They for some reason couldn't keep focused enough in the ring to actually fulfill that potential. Obviously, ZAB Judah had several losses against fighters that he should have beaten, like Carlos Baldemir. When you look at obviously Adrian Broner was seen as a huge favourite when he went into the fight against Marcos Maidana. He got beat by Marcos Maidana, beat by a fighter that had less talent than him in a lot of ways. And obviously, like in my opinion, Terrence Crawford may go on to become better than actually Mayweather from a legacy perspective. When you look at it from the fact that Terrence Crawford literally unified a few divisions, while Mayweather just picked up a few belts from a few of the weaker champions from each division and then moved up in weight. So in a lot of ways, you can see the similarities there. It seems like Terrence Crawford's career is literally just going to keep going in terms of like him actually fulfilling his potential. He may go on to fight an Errol Spence or Keith Thurman or Sean Porter and he may have the skills to beat all three of them. To be honest with you, obviously it remains to be seen. Errol Spence is a massive welterweight. He could go. His size could be the difference in that particular fight. But one thing that has to be said, you could already say that Terrence Crawford has fulfilled his potential. Because no, I don't think when a top rank first signed him that they thought he was going to be the number one pound for pound fighter on the planet. They probably didn't even see that stuff coming. So in a lot of ways, if you look at the way Terrence Crawford's career has panned out, he's in a far better position than Adrien Broner's in right now. Obviously, Adrien Broner's he's going to have this fight with Pacquiao soon, and it may be seen as like a crossroad fight, but in my opinion, the best Adrien Broner has ever looked. Like that one fight that I was really impressed with him was the Antonio DeMarco fight. That Antonio DeMarco fight was hugely impressive because he was letting his hands go. I feel like Adrien Broner's biggest problem was that he modelled himself after Floyd Mayweather when Floyd Mayweather was past his athletic prime. So this was the Floyd Mayweather that was like an economical fighter that only threw punches when it counted. He never used his leg as much. And for Adrien Broner, who was a young fighter at the time, to be imitating that particular style, it just didn't make sense because he had the athletic potential to move his legs. So and he had the athletic potential to throw more punches. So for him to like lay back and rely on a shoulder roll defense that he doesn't know how to do, it just allowed opportunities for fighters like Maidana, Sean Porter, and to some extent Mikey Garcia to outwork him and beat him. So from that perspective, I think this fight against Pacquiao is all wrong for Broner. I feel like Broner's definitely going to lose this particular fight because even in his fight against Antonio DeMarco, he was standing in front of DeMarco, and if you try to do that against Pacquiao, you're going to get destroyed. So I feel like a big criticism of Adrien Broner is the fact that he doesn't let his hands go. So, but I feel like in this fight, if he lets his hands go, Pacquiao's so fast he's going to counter him, and the fact is he's quite flat-footed as well. So Pacquiao, say what you want about him in terms of him being a raw fighter, but Pacquiao can actually dance in the ring. He can actually move pretty quick with his footwork. So I feel like with Adrien Broner's footwork, Pacquiao's just going to go dance all over him and just like with his footwork, just outmaneuver him and throw punches at will. And I feel like Adrien Broner's just going to get lit up in this particular fight. So regardless of whether he lets his hands go or not, if he doesn't let his hands go, he's just going to be like a sitting duck for Pacquiao's power. And if he does let his hands go, then he's just going to provide more opportunities for Pacquiao to counter him. So either way, he's screwed in this particular fight. But similarly to Zab Judah, both Zab Judah and Adrien Broner, despite the fact that they never lived up to their potential, they kept getting paydays after paydays. Zab Judah, like the last few years of his career, like he's not retired yet, but he's not as famous as he once was. But the last few years of his career, even though he was way past his prime, he kept getting title shots against fighters that were way above him just based on his name. So I feel like that's what's happening with Adrien Broner at this moment in time. He's a fighter that just based off name value, he keeps getting these big fights. It's not based on his talent or based on who he's beat for him to get into a certain position to get a certain fight. It's based on the hype that surrounds him. And it's the same thing with Zab Judah. Zab Judah was getting fights against Amir Khan, against Danny Garcia. I believe he fought poorly as well. These fights were happening way past his prime, just based on his name, basically. I think, to be fair, with the Amir Khan fight, I believe he beat Vernon Paris for that fight. He knocked him out to get that particular fight. So you can say he earned that, but a few fights after that, he did get fights with people that I don't think he actually deserved based off his ranking on who he beat. It was based off his name, the fact that having Zab Judah on your record is a good look, basically. He still is a 6-time world champion. But in my opinion, if Zab Judah was to fight, Zab Judah is way more talented than Adrien Broner ever was. Like, for one, he used to let his hands go. The problem with Zab Judah was stamina problems. He just used to run out of gas. But if you look at the first 6 rounds with Miguel Cotto, with obviously Floyd Mayweather, there was spots in the fight with Floyd Mayweather where he was outboxing Floyd Mayweather. When he was fighting Miguel Cotto, there was spots in the fight where Miguel Cotto had to hit him low to like slow him down because he caught Miguel Cotto with this, I believe it was a left uppercut, southpaw uppercut that he threw with the backhand. So like, And if you look at the fighters that they fought and lost to, Zab Judah's lost to a far higher level of competition than Adrien Broner ever has. And I feel like Adrien Broner is, in terms of pure talent, Zab Judah's way more talented than Adrien Broner ever was. But I always used to look at Zab Judah as a less disciplined southpaw version of Floyd Mayweather. That's what I looked at him. So he had the same level of talent as Floyd Mayweather, but he just didn't have the discipline, and he was southpaw. So that's just my opinion on them. I would definitely think Terrence Crawford and Terrence Crawford and Broner is this generation's version of Floyd Mayweather and Zab Judah. So that's my 2 cents. Subscribe if you want to hear more content like this. Peace out.